That includes IVF. And this gets personal for me and my family. When my wife and I decided to have children, we spent years going through infertility treatments. And I remember praying every night for a call for good news. The pit in my stomach when the phone rang, and the agony when we heard that the treatments hadn't worked. So it wasn't by chance that when we welcomed our daughter into the world, we named her Hope.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now. Let's talk a little bit about Tim Walz lying about Alabama, which makes him pretty much the perfect person to be on the ticket for any Democratic race outside of the state of Alabama, because they can never get the story right about the state of Alabama, and the media never holds them to account. This is kind of a perfect example here, where Tim Walz said that IVF was really the thing that helped him have his family. Turns out that is not true. He's known that, but he was willing to lie about it. Why? Because it was politically advantageous to talk about the state of Alabama and mention that Alabama, they had an IVF issue, and now we've got to protect it across the entire country because Alabama wanted to ban IVF, which of course is not true. There was no action taken by the legislature. It was a court ruling that the legislature then went to immediately fix. Alabama should get credit for that instead of getting slammed for it. But, honesty is not a big thing for the American media, and nor is it a big thing for Tim Walz. Ask him where he served overseas. Ask him what he carried in war. Ask him what his rank was. Ask him almost anything, and he will have told a lie. And even CNN's Jake Tapper is calling him out for this. But the people on this panel with Jake Tapper really want to defend him.
Vice President Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, is tomorrow night. The campaign is having to clean up some comments he's made about one of the campaign signature issues having to do with reproductive rights. This is what Governor Walz said on MSNBC while criticizing J.D. Vance. Take a listen.
J.D. Vance knows nothing about that, and then he keeps going into all of these things. Today's IVF day. Thank God for IVF. My wife and I have 2 beautiful children.
Now, that's not accurate, right? I mean, it wasn't IVF. It was a different procedure, and his wife, Gwen Walz, the First Lady of Minnesota, is taking care to tell CNN that they actually used a procedure called intrauterine insemination. IUI. It's a process she described as an incredibly personal and difficult experience. They did use fertility treatments. It wasn't IVF.
Any woman
Come here, Sergeant Major.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I want to.
Any one of the 1 in 7 women who goes through fertility treatments, IUI is part of the suite of fertility treatments. It's a step below IVF. It's direct insemination versus creating embryos. I think that is a stretch to say that it's not part of the broader fertility treatment.
The way they explain it is he just talks like how regular people talk.
I mean, my husband wouldn't know the difference.
First of all, my wife did IUI not once but twice, and then we did IVF not once but twice, trying to have a child. And so as a father of IVF babies or whatever, yes, I would call.
You're not winning if you're making
You would say it's the same thing?
I would just, as a man, I would probably mess that up.
Look, guys, this is a head scratcher.
Yeah, but why clean it up?
It's just have your facts right as you come out and you're going to tell the story. It opens up an opportunity for them to now have to try and bury a clean up in their convention week in the
But we will have this discussion with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump any day of the week. I get it. It was inartful. It was not accurate. It was not accurate.
Well, the distinction is IVF or IUI is not under attack anywhere the way IVF is, but it is part of the suite of options. Most people begin with one and go to the other.
We're glad that he has 2 kids. It's also important for politicians to be accurate. Thanks to everyone.
Now, you may think this doesn't have a lot to do with the state of Alabama, but remember the reason this story is in the news. They want to talk about reproductive freedom, but their obsession with abortion is really a turnoff. So now they want to pretend that Republicans are against IVF, which is just a complete fallacy. And again, they'll point to Alabama and tell yet another lie about the state because the truth of their record is really, really bad. Tim Walz is actually the perfect candidate for Kamala Harris. He is a liar. He has no idea what he's talking about, and he is willing to get out there and absolutely embarrass himself.
Governor Tim Walz.